everyone. This week we are going to have a look at trusting our children, which I began thinking about a few weeks ago, how we were going to really explore this idea and what we were going to talk through. It took me a really long time actually to think it all through and to come up with sort of this path forward about what we could discuss and how we would discuss it. It's a massive topic. It seems really huge. Like, how can you trust your children? Because they're just children. They can't be trusted. They don't have the resources to be trusted. They don't have the skills. They don't have the knowledge. And it seems like this really crazy idea. And I really wanted to think through what it means to trust our children and what that looks like, because the idea that we can't trust our children comes from a sort of this basis, this foundation that they don't know anything. And it has some element of truth in it, in that our children are not as experienced as adults because they don't have the years of experience. And it came to me that that's really the key to this, the years of experience. And when we say we're going to trust our children, what we're actually saying is that we are going to allow them to have those experiences, and we are going to support them because we are an unschooling family, and we are going to facilitate them, and we are going to provide for them these experiences that if they want to engage with, they will, and we're going to support them in the things that they want to engage with so that they can build this repertoire of experience. And in that way we are trusting our children. It's strongly linked to our relationships, which we've talked about a couple of weeks ago in a previous video. And it's also strongly related to trusting the learning process, which we will talk about in a few weeks' time. Okay, so these things are all interlinked. So this week we are looking at the third of our pillars of unschooling, and that is trusting our children. How we can trust our children to learn, and how we can trust them in their decision making process. I also thought that it was important to mention that this is also linked to their development as human beings, and how they naturally know and grow. So when babies are born, I was thinking about how there is one way of parenting our children is to feed them when they say they're hungry and help them to sleep when they are letting us know that they are tired. And this relationship grows between the caregivers and the baby. And I am talking about really young babies, like newborn babies, and those first few months. And this relationship and this understanding grows between the caregiver and the baby. So the baby might cry or fuss or suck on its fist or rub its eyes, and the caregiver learns that these signals are telling us something, that they're hungry or that they're tired. Those are sort of the basic things when they're newborn, or maybe that they're uncomfortable, and they need a back rub, or they need a change, or something like that. And we know our babies really well, but the point is our babies know as well. Our babies know that there is something not right, that they're feeling uncomfortable, or that they're feeling tired, or that they're feeling hungry. And we as the caregivers respond to those needs. And those things don't really change as our children grow. They know when they're hungry, or we know when they're hungry because we notice the signs. And we know when they're tired, and they know when they're tired. And we respond to them showing us the signs, and we help them to sleep, and we help them to eat, and we help them to drink or change. But those things also develop and change. So they know that they want to play with toys, or they know that they want to, play with other people. And those things don't magically change because our children hit a certain age. But there seems to be a point where the adult tries to gain more control over those things by saying, it is breakfast time now, you are going to eat. Or, it is nap time now, you are going to sleep. And somewhere those things can change in our culture, because of the way society says that this is what children should be doing. And similarly, we have developmental milestones, which most people are probably familiar with, again, from our experience with health visitors, and whether our children are meeting those particular developmental milestones. Now, when you've got children that meet those at exactly the point when they're supposed to, the world seems rosy and fine, and it all seems to be going swimmingly. But actually, often children don't hit those milestones at exactly the time when, the information says they should, because that information is based on averages, and most children aren't average. So one child even, who would maybe walk at 18 months might not talk until they're 3. But similarly, a child who's an early talker might be a late walker or an early walker. It's all unique to each individual. And these developmental milestones, although they are good indications maybe of children moving forward and developing, growing, they can sometimes sort of knock us off our parental perch, or they make us think that our children should be doing that certain thing by a certain age. Now, my eldest, who is currently 12, he didn't go to preschool or nursery. None of my children have. And I was very aware when he was 2 or 3 years old that preschool or nursery, they would know their colours. They would know what colour everything was, and they'd probably do a rainbow song, or play some games, and paint. And it was one of the things that they would be instructed in, would be knowing their colours. And my son did not know his colours. And I can remember, just having a bit of a hiccup over that, really, a little bit of should I be teaching him his colours? Should we do something about that? And I decided not to in the end. Decided that we would just carry on, and it would be all right, that he didn't need to know his colours, so it would be all right. And by the time he was 5 years old, he knew his colours, but it wasn't important, and he wasn't in any way told he was less than because he didn't know his colours. And now at the age of 12, it really doesn't matter. We just had to trust that when he was ready, or when he had a need to know, that he would learn those things. Now, I've also got now a very arty daughter who is currently 8. She knew her colours, I'm sure, before she could even speak, which is a silly thing to say, really, because I wouldn't even know. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. But she did know them certainly a lot younger than he did. But it really doesn't matter, and we wanted to use that as an example of when children are ready, they will learn the things they need to learn. When they have a need to learn something or a purpose, or they're motivated in some way, then they will learn the things they need to know. And in that way, we are trusting the learning process, because we trust that those things will develop and in time they will come to learn them. And we are trusting that our children will have an innate need, have an innate desire, have an innate motivation to carry on learning. And our job is to support them and support their curiosity and support who they are in their learning, but also in themselves. And this is the biggest barrier really in us trusting our children. Our own move from unschooling academics and learning and moving into what's classed as radical unschooling really came with this idea of trusting our children. So giving them back autonomy and authority over themselves as human beings. So allowing them, and even that now saying allowing them, I allow them, I give them permission to. I support them actually, and we facilitate what they need to be able to achieve these things. But they have autonomy over their own bodies. They know when they're tired, and we, in a similar way to when they were babies, recognise the signs when they're tired. And sometimes those are very verbal, and it's, I'm tired now and I'd like to go to bed. And sometimes it's just them, snuggling up for a cuddle, or saying things like, oh, can I have a story now? That's quite a good indication in our house that people are ready for bed. And saying yes, and then following that through and helping them get ready for bed, and doing a story and tucking them in and saying good night. But it's allowing our children to be aware of their own body, be aware of when they're hungry, being aware of when they're tired, knowing how they feel in the clothes they wear, knowing how they feel about how they want to wear their hair, or how they want to grow their hair or not grow their hair, and just supporting them in those decisions. Now, it doesn't mean they always get it right, but that is part of the experience of being human. That applies to all of us. We don't always all get things right all the time. Sometimes we stay up later than we should and then are really tired the next morning. Sometimes we don't drink enough water, so we're dehydrated, or sometimes we eat too much, or we don't eat enough. And to expect our children to get it right all the time, and to not give them the freedom to experiment with maybe sleeping patterns or food in particular, I keep coming back to, we take away a learning opportunity for them, and we take away the opportunity for them to make decisions over their own lives. And these are actually really valuable lessons for them to have. And more importantly, they're really valuable for them to have them in a safe environment at home, in their family, where if they get things wrong, they're not shamed or reprimanded. They have a tired day and then they make up for it. And then when they later have to make decisions, and I mean later on in life making decisions, it's not a rehearsal. They're not trying things out, or they're not rebelling against what they've been taught as children, because they've already had these experiences and they know the consequences, and so they can make decisions in their lives with a lot of experience and a lot of back knowledge about what will happen with the decision that they have made. So this topic turned into some quite grand blog experience. I have written quite a lot about it, so you can follow the link below and just read some more. You can follow on my Facebook page because I've got some articles there and some links to other people that talk quite a lot about trusting our children, which is really useful. I'm really sure that loads of you will have lots and lots of questions about how this works, because it is quite foreign to how society treats children. So please feel free to write in the comments any questions, and I'll try and address those. And of course you can subscribe even to more videos by pressing that big red button. And then my son showed me, if you press the little bell next to it, you can select whether you want all the notifications or some of the notifications or fewer notifications. So you can press the little bell and you know, select all the notifications, because then you'll get all the info on what's going on YouTube. And I look forward to talking to you next week about the fourth pillar in our unschooling journey. So I look forward to that. Have a lovely weekend, everyone. Bye.